an enjoyable Valentine's Day last night. Hope everyone had a good time. And welcome in on this Tuesday morning. We've got a lot to get to today. Yes, we are 199 days away from Alabama and Auburn football. 199 days away. It seems like it'll be here, feels like it'll be here before we know it. 24/7 Sports has given us what and who they think right now will have the hardest schedules in 2022. It could create some openings in the future. Former LSU head coach Ed Orgeron speaks on his future, and that is a future back in college football. Alabama had plans to sell alcohol inside Coleman Coliseum, but the city of Tuscaloosa, they want a big piece of the pie. They want an even more piece of the pie. We'll explain everything, why that's not going to happen. And then we got other stuff. Major League Baseball presented a proposal, and they want to do some cutting on the minor league level. We'll explain all of that. But it all starts with you, 256-576-4977. That is the number 2, the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We want to hear from you on said Tuesday morning. Welcome in, welcome in. And we start there with, because tomorrow night, Alabama's supposed to take on Mississippi State inside Coleman Coliseum. Basketball game should be all giddy. Should be fun. The problem is you're not going to be able to get a beer. Can't buy a beer because, oh boy, this is kind of, okay, so here's the deal with this. There will be no alcohol served inside Coleman Coliseum because the city council proposed a $1 fee for events with a capacity between 1,000 and 19,000 or 20,000 people, which includes Coleman Coliseum. Doesn't sound like much, okay? They want $1 for the tickets, basically, is what they want. But when you start delving down into it, the athletics department already pays a 10% sales tax on all ticket sales, with 3% going to the city of Tuscaloosa.
Already getting a cut.
Yeah, Greg Burns says this is an estimated revenue of $1.3 million already to the city of Tuscaloosa. The athletic department pays 10% sales tax on concession revenue from all athletic events, generating approximately $125,000. Now they want another $1 for every ticket that includes young kids. So that not even everyone that is going to
And that makes
drink,
no sense.
Yeah, they want more money
That
from
should
the
be
money
21
they're
above.
already getting.
I mean, good grief. Hello.
Greg Burns says it's very unfortunate that the city of Tuscaloosa's plan would unreasonably target Alabama athletics and our fans with a service fee on all tickets where alcohol is sold, even tickets sold to children.
Oh, good Lord.
So no beer inside Coleman Coliseum.
Yeah, we'll see. That's probably to be determined down the road. Walt Maddox trying to pick a battle that he'll probably lose, and that's the mayor of Tuscaloosa. And all I'll say is he's aligned with the president, and that's all you need to know.
The president of the United States.
Yeah.
Yes.
The dumbest man in America.
Well, I ain't going to go there.
Yeah.
25657.
Well, my gas bill would.
Yeah. Yes, Mike. Yes. I will go there. 256-576-4977. Your thoughts on all of this. I mean, does it deter you from going to a basketball game? I mean, is it one of those things where, I mean, I'm asking our listeners, does it deter them from going to a basketball game because the SEC allows now alcohol sales in its venues. There are a lot of SEC teams that do sell beer and stuff there. Is it going to deter Alabama fans from going to basketball games in the future if this does stay the course where no alcohol is sold?
I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, the students have turned out, and they've been a strong turnout for every game. Most of them, I said most, the majority cannot buy a beer at the, that's not to say they're not sneaking something in to put in their Coke or something.
Right.
But and then of course, I think when you talk about season ticket holders and adults, some would want to have a beer. I don't think it's a be-all, end-all because, again, this is still relatively new too. So I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker. And if it turned into one, trust me, Alabama wields a hammer. And, Walt Maddox is an elected official. Trust me, if he were losing, traction over something like this big time, things would be changing. So I mean, we'll see, but I think it's probably just something they'll work out in the future. They may take a slightly smaller cut. I don't know, but if it turns into a big political mess, it would be a mess for Walt, the mayor of Tuscaloosa, and he would have to, I think, back down here.
256-576-4977. That's just kind of
because trust me, the golden goose is Alabama athletics for Tuscaloosa. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Richard's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Richard.
On the beer sales, the crazy thing is on football, what they're trying to tax. Basically they're saying for safety. You're going to have more problems with people buying, beer, at the football stadium. I could swear. I walk by frat houses and everybody's pretty much partying, and on the quad people are drinking. But I guess that doesn't count for causing problems. When I've seen parties on the quad out where people are like downing a beer, then sitting upside down, putting their head upside down in a cold tub of ice and stuff. But I guess those people aren't drinking that I see out there. Basically, the logic falls apart for football in about 3 seconds.
Yeah,
agreed. People are getting drunk, going in, before they go in the stadium out. So that's what makes no sense. And then you got to think at basketball, the concession lines are usually pretty long. And I made a joke the other day is they would get in line at the Baylor game and get served at the Kentucky game.
Well, now they're not gonna. Now they don't have to worry about being long lines for beer because there won't be any.
Yeah, because it was a 2 limit. What they did on the gymnastics Friday night actually had beer.
Oh, okay.
So they actually, I guess sold beer and wine on Friday night, and then they didn't have it, with the basketball on Saturday. But I guess that's when they, I guess they didn't know about the Tuscaloosa rule out, so they did have it for one event.
Yeah. Okay. So
Out.
now it'll be interesting to see if they have it going forward.
But it was a 2 limit, 2 drink limit. Like I said, the concession stand line, unless they had a special kiosk, don't move very fast because they're serving food and drink, and that really slows things down.
Yeah.
But like I said, at football though, it's not like no one's drinking before they walk in the game.
No, that's true.
So,
no one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Out, so it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think where they're probably losing the money would be, and it's not as big a crowd, would be more like baseball.
Yeah.
Than say basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Now because baseball could it's really, I guess you would say, an unlimited time limit, and it's you're going to be sitting outside possibly for basketball. It's pretty much 2 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because it's a 1,999. That's the small. So I mean, baseball falls into that 3,000, 4,000 seat range. So baseball, Sewell Thomas would be affected by this as well because they would want $1 ticket from everything there as well on top of what they already pay.
But like I said, I think that's where you would really have, more likely to get drunk would be at a baseball than, like I said, a limited time. And most people, basketball, it's not like football. Most people don't get there till 10 or 15 minutes before game time.
Yeah.
And then when it's over, you leave and go home. You're not out tailgating or anything. So it's pretty limited. But like I said, baseball, you have, the
3 hours.
Yeah. So you have a lot longer to kind of sit out there and more downtime than a basketball game.
Well, it's baseball too. Baseball, beer, peanuts, everything kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, it's all goes there. All right, Richard.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard.
Okay, see you
Thank you, man.
Let's stay on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. What positivity do we have today? Johnny on his cell.
What's up, Johnny?
What's up, Johnny?
Hey, guys.
How we doing?
Okay, so as a guy that goes to events in Tuscaloosa,
right?
Yeah.
All the kind you can go to. I got 2 kids down there.
Yep.
Okay, so this is just more politicians being greedy. And I can't help but the fact that to think that, you know, if it was a beer tax, let's just say $1 per beer, I think there'd be a lot less heartburn about this than $1 per ticket, because at least, I mean, because like you said, out of 20,000 people, there's probably 9 or 10 that wouldn't even be eligible to drink beer to begin with.
That is why Greg Byrne was upset yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would also agree with the previous caller. I mean, the baseball plate games are games more like where you're going to see people drink a few beers, because let's face it, you go to Color Coliseum, you're not going to get liquored up to go to a basketball game generally. I mean, it's not like football where, I mean, you know, you've got the elements in a 3.5 hour window. You're there, you got 2 20-minute halves. I mean, I just, like I said, the brains of politicians seem to get smaller and smaller as we go forward in life. And you know, you're talking about your gas bill. I mean, I'm paying $3.20 at the pump, and when Trump left office, I was paying $1.79. So, dude, you know, I'm done with these. You know, like I said, if you want to tax something, make it a use tax. Don't make it a tax on all the people that are coming.
Yeah.
And don't piggyback on the success of my athletic department.
Well, I think that's what it is.
That athletic department brings more money to the city of Tuscaloosa, and since Nick Saban's arrival, the city coffers are 50 times fuller than they were before he got there. So quit being greedy, snap it off and be smart about it. And if you want to pick a fight, don't pick a fight with a golden egg, baby.
Yep, I think that's what Drew was talking about. Is that what you were alluding to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't. It's a money making machine, and you want to have as good a relationship with the University of Alabama and athletics as you can if you're the city of Tuscaloosa, instead of trying to get greedy like Johnny's saying.
All right, Johnny, thanks for the phone call, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, that's some good stuff right there. 256-576-4977.
Beer in Tuscaloosa, and everybody's calling.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering, because the thing of it is if you look at it, I mean, it's an interesting point. All right, well, it's 7:15. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Brandon's with us this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up? You there, bud?
Good morning, Brandon.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
So it appears that now Coach K completely owns Duke basketball. He has more wins by himself than all other Duke coaches combined in history.
Well, and that's not surprising. Bill Foster had a 1978 run to the national championship, and they had some moments, but until Coach K got there in 1980, Duke was not a historically consistently great program. They'd had some success in the 70s and a little bit in the 60s, but they weren't a powerhouse like North Carolina, that is for sure.
Well, it's going to be sad to see such a powerful figure probably hang it up this year.
Yeah.
You were talking last week about Roy and the guy that transferred from Auburn. To Auburn.
Yeah, Kessler.
Yeah. I think Kessler, when he left, I can't help if Roy was about half senile at that point, because you'd have to be dumb as a sack of bricks to realize that guy, to not be able to realize that guy can play ball.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely great athlete. They might not have got their rear end beat by 20 against Coach K if they'd had him on the floor. It might have at least been 10, but taking a look at that situation. We nominate moron of the year.
Yeah,
we can.
Nominate one.
We're taking them every day.
But how about we nominate somebody for balls of the year?
Okay.
I can't get that on a trophy. I'd probably get laughed off the phone if I called him. But right now, I think Brian Harson. I mean, I hate to dap up a Barner, but they basically told him to come back from vacation and face the music. And he told them what they could jump on, facing down being fired. I think that takes a big pair to do something like that.
That's kind of like
we need more leadership like that.
Kind of like gangster-like.
I thought that was one of the most gangster things I've seen anybody do. I mean, they basically tried to call him to the carpet, and he said, it ain't happening. I'm on vacation. He's like, I'll deal with this crap when I get back. Job, no job, the hell with y'all.
Yeah, he's sitting there on the phone like, you don't talk to me like that. I will come when I want to come. He's basically, yeah.
He told him that drinking his left hand with that umbrella was at the top of his priority list, not the Auburn power brokers.
You know what, though? The way Brian Harson put his foot down, I don't think he had an umbrella in his drink. He probably just had a straight-up scotch or whiskey in the cup, and that was it.
I imagine he took his left hand and was holding something and was giving them directions as to what they could grab a hold of. I just really appreciated the fact that he done that more, because there's a lot of people that would have cowered down, and he didn't. And if I can't give him anything else, I got to give him the fact that he stood his ground when there was $18 million on the line, because he just flat out said, you got nothing on me, whether you like it or not, and you're going to have to pay me.
Either that or he couldn't get his deposit back from the resort, so he had to stay.
Kind of money they're paying him. Do you think Coach O, speaking of people that got paid, do you think he comes and coaches at any point in the next 3 years?
Well, we're going to get to that later.
Retired?
We're going to get to that later in the show. He was on Dan Patrick.
I will say this. I saw the clip. It was just classic. The clip about it, Adrian Peterson recruiting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll break all that down. We'll break all the Ed Orgeron conversation down here a little bit later, Brandon, because it's some good stuff.
I mean, if you could understand what Coach O is saying, and you could speak Cajun a little bit, and he's sitting there telling you what Adrian Peterson did. I mean, it's pretty. Coach O is a funny guy.
Yeah, the stories that he's not holding back. So
no,
we'll get to
not
that
anymore.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Yeah, there's some good stuff.
I would love to see him tell some stories after about 10 beers. Probably,
I don't even think he needs. I don't even think he needs 10 beers.
Yeah, we don't need $1 back for Coach O.
He's just telling the stories, and they're great. I mean, they're great stories. So.
Gentlemen, have a good day. Lots of laughs. Roll Pads.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, there's some good stuff. The Ed Orgeron clips. I listened to the interview, and it is great. We're going to play the portion where he talks about getting back into coaching.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll tell some of the stories that he was mentioning a little bit later. But let's get our first break in, because when we come back, we're going to bring our first guest of the morning in.
An elected Hall of Famer recently to the Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He is a 3-time state champion. He has won 835 basketball games, and they will take the court tonight in the sub-regional at home against Madison County, and that is Ronnie Stapler, the Westminster Christian Academy head coach. He will join us next, following the break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning. Still working with a clean slate this morning. Traffic moving nicely. They cleared the wreck on 565 at exit 3. It's out of the way now. You be careful on that trip in. Put extra room in there so you got somewhere to go if something does go wrong. No mask, no hose. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for info on the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Sitting here with my good friend Scooter Rambo from Rambo Marine. Scooter, you've been in business for 27 years. What sets you apart from other dealers?
Well, Wes, probably the biggest thing is that when we tell a customer that we're going to have their boat ready on Tuesday, it's ready to go. We try to make sure we always deliver what we promise to the customers, because the key to our success has been the service that we offer, the way we take care of people, and they can have the confidence in us that when they do business with Rambo Marine, we will always be there.
Dockside Bedside service. Who else does that?
Well, sir, hardly anybody does it well. We do that. That's, again, one of our strengths. We can handle most repairs right there at their dock. Some things have to go back to the shop. The main thing is, one way or another, if it can't be done there, we'll take it to our store. We'll get it fixed. It'll be back there. It'll be ready for them when they're ready to go.
Rambo Marine, how do you get in touch with you?
Best way west, RamboMarine.com has got phone numbers, hours, all of our contact info, emails as well.
Contact Scooter today.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
And now a small business setback, as assessed by a beloved family pediatrician.
Oh, hey, Tiger. Big scary tree branch give your work truck a boo-boo? Yeah. Wow. See this thing on my phone here? It's the Progressive mobile app. Just push that little button there and report your claim. Attaboy.
When owning a small business gets painful, Progressive Commercial is here to make it all better. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
What's this? Candy drawer? Who wants a lollipop?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions. Photo claims not available in all states or situations.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Leaving his mark on sports talk radio with a paddle.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Join Wes Neighbors weekday afternoons on The Drive, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back to Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Happy Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back in. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed. It is 7:25 on this Tuesday, and boy, oh boy, this time of year is chaotic and crazy because you have college basketball in probably its best form right now, and that is teams fighting to get into the SEC tournament, fighting to get into the NCAA tournament. It's high-level basketball. The same can be said on the high school level as well, because it is high-level basketball right now, because when you lace up those shoes, there is no guarantee that you are going to get to lace them up again, because it is postseason basketball at its finest. It is sub-regional time.
It is, and we are so blessed in our community. We consider ourselves the hub of basketball in the state of Alabama here in Madison County. And Scott, there's 6 coaches in the history of this state that have won 800-plus games, and 2 of them coach here. And one of them is now with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. In November, he was recently elected to the Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. He's a 3-time state champion. He's been at Westminster Christian since 2014 and quickly built them into a powerhouse program. They have played in 3 state championship games, winning it all in 2016. They are the #1 team in 4A basketball right now. And if you watch this team play, ferocious man defense, very athletic. We're very excited for them to try to bring a 4A crown back, a blue trophy. And, of course, we're talking about Ronnie Stapler, and he's been good enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. These guys play the right way. Coach, it's great to speak with you as always. You're with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Scott. Good to be with you guys.
Coach, does this time of the year just I mean, just keep you going? I mean, this postseason basketball, I mean, it's got to be nerve-wracking and exciting.
I call it crank your tractor.
At the same time.
But it wears you out. I know that. I mean, you're up all hours of the night. You practice, and you're up all hours of the night watching film. But it's a fun time of the year because when you get to this point, you know there's not many teams left, and you're just trying to. Doesn't matter how good or how bad you play. All you ask yourself is, did we advance? And that's what we're trying to do now. Just keep advancing.
Well, Coach, you've always been an advocate for man-to-man defense, a lot of motion and movement and sharing the basketball offensively. But you've always had a knack for preparing your teams for this time of year when we go back to your run at Grissom, a great one with the 2 state championships, played for a third, and then when you rebuilt the Guntersville program, the Randolph girls program, and now Westminster. You don't reinvent the wheel in basketball, but what's been the secret for you in getting your teams ready this time of year?
Well, I've always felt like if you were really good defensively, this time of year you'd always have a chance. That you're going to play in venues that sometimes you don't get a chance to play in. It's a regionals. A lot of these teams now are playing tournaments and tournament games at some of these sites, but you're going to go into places where you're not familiar with, and we've always felt like if we can be really, really good defensively, nights that the ball doesn't go in the hole or we struggle shooting it a little bit, we'll always have a chance to be in those games and have a chance to be competitive in them.
Well, Coach, you have a chance tonight to take that next step forward. You'll be at home tonight. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges that lies ahead.
Well, we played Madison County twice, and I'll be honest with you, Tony's done a really good job with this team this year. They've really improved, and some guys on this team have gotten more and more confident as they've gone along during the year, and they begin to take bigger roles on the team, and you can watch them on film and tell that their expanded roles and how much more confident they are in the things they can do than they were early in the year. They're athletic. They've got 3 guys that can make a shot, can make a 3, and they've gotten a whole lot harder to defend as the year's gone on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's always tough because that's the key, getting your team to improve. There's no doubt about it. And, Coach, the thing that strikes me watching your squad is this is probably your most athletic team at Westminster, and it's a deeper squad for you. Your rotation can go as many as 10 deep. Very good defensively, all these young men, because you guys, I believe, are only giving up around 38 points per game. Defensively, I've been getting a lot of word from coaches about how good you guys have been playing on that end of the floor. And, of course, as you said at the start of the conversation, that's where it all starts for your program.
Well, we have 10 guys. You could really consider all of them could be starters. And each one of them understands their role, and each one of them tries to do as good a job as they can in their role. And this is the most athletic team I've had out there, with the exception of one when Trey and Jared Murphy and Jared Smith, those guys were there. They were real athletic. But this is a very athletic team, and we have a really good young player in Chase McCarty who's long, and then we have a really athletic guy inside, Jackson Hammond, who sort of has, since he's come back, has given us a little bit more rim protection and has done a really good job of defending inside for us. And I think we're really hard to play against. And I think that's the biggest thing in basketball. Defensively, if you're hard to play against, and offensively, you want to be hard to guard. And I think those are the 2 things we've done this year. We've been hard to play against defensively, and we've been hard to guard offensively.
Well, part of that offensive attack, Chase McCarty.
Yes.
A big part of that offensive attack. Yeah. Well, what does he kind of helped bring to this team?
Well, of course, Chase has a great pedigree. His dad was a really good player, a good guy. The greatest thing about Chase is his maturity he's shown this year, how much he's grown as a player, but also as a person. There may be some better sophomores than him in the state, but I haven't seen it. I mean, the guy's averaging 19.7 points per game, 7.2 rebounds a game. He shot 84% the free throw line, 39% from three, and 59% from two. And he's a very, very willing passer, a very unselfish kid. And we think he's really a good player that does a really good job of helping our other guys get better, be better too.
And, Coach, I know you mentioned Jackson Hammond. It's just good to see. I know his older brother was in your program, but also that he's now finally healthy. He's had a knee injury. He's had a back injury. But we're seeing how athletic this young man is. I know you've had great players throughout your 50 years in coaching but on the high school level, but this kid is as good an athlete and as good a leaper as I think anybody you've ever had.
He is. Austin Leslie was the best athlete I've ever coached as far as all that running and jumping.
Right.
Jackson stands and vertical jumps 42 inches from the stand.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things you can do with a guy that's no steps. Just standing off 2 feet, vertical jumps 42 inches. And there's a lot of things you can do with the ball up around the rim with a guy who can do that. You don't have to be pinpoint perfect with every pass.
No, sir.
Thrown to him, and I'm really proud for him because he's basically he's played a half a year of basketball this year, and he missed all last year with a bad back, with the exception of 7 games. So this is really he missed some games as a freshman. This is really the first time we've really had him for more than a half a season.
No doubt. He's already putting up a highlight reel that's extremely impressive, and I know he's been a big part of your squad. But as you said, Coach, the depth of this team is what's strong. A lot of ability to knock down the perimeter shot, a lot of ability defensively, and again, there's not a lot of drop-off with this group. I know the young man Bledsoe for you. I'm already getting calls about him from college coaches. I know you're excited about him.
Well, Jason's done a really good job for us. He's been a complimentary player to Chase. He can shoot the threes, already made over 50 threes, I think it is, for the year. Doesn't take bad shots, takes shots when he has opportunity to take them, doesn't force shots. We have other guys off our bench that can make a shot. Grant Coughlin can make a shot. Tyler Engel can make a shot. Lawson Collier can make a shot, and then we've got a young man who comes off the bench who plays behind Jackson, a guy named Tim Clark, who's done a really good job for us. And then DJ Massey has been a kid who's played extremely well for us defensively off the bench. So we have 4 or 5 guys that make a shot, and just hope that we can keep making them at the right time.
Well, Coach, we talk a lot about it, and you've been around a lot. Describe the basketball play this year in North Alabama. You guys went through a gauntlet of a schedule. You faced a lot of quality teams around the area. How did you see the basketball this year in our area?
I thought it was really good. I thought we have some really good basketball teams up here in every classification. For instance, that 7A region that Huntsville and Sparkman and Grissom in, I think all 3 of them were ranked in the top 5 most of the year, or top 8 or 10 most of the year. And it's been the same way in 6A, 5A, 6A. Lee's been ranked 1 most of the year. We've been ranked in the top 5 or 6 all year long. And then just east of us, Plainview's been ranked 1 or 2 all year long in 3A. We've had other teams, West Morgan, Brooks, and then the job that Jeremy Bynum's done at Jemison is amazing. Jeremy's done a great job at Jemison, and, of course, Christian's done a great job at Huntsville High. We just have a lot of quality players and a lot of quality basketball coaches up here. Priceville in our area is a really, really good team, and I think they have a chance to go on the road tomorrow and win. Mm-hmm. And then just be a testament to how good basketball is up here.
It really is, Coach, because I know in the area championship game, that was a 1-point game through 3 quarters before you guys kind of clamped down and put the game away in the area title game against Priceville.
Yes, we struggle there with Chase gets in foul trouble, and Eric Robinson, who probably is a young man that sort of solidified us as a team defensively. Eric is a 6'2" young man who he guards everybody else's best player if it's anybody but a post player. He guards the point guards. He guards anybody that's not a post player for us, and done an incredible job all year long doing that. And Eric got in foul trouble. Chase got in foul trouble earlier. We struggled some offensively. But the one thing, like I said earlier, that gave us a chance to be in the game, we were really, really good defensively. And then the second half, we got some things going offensively and sort of opened the game up.
No question. And Coach, I know you sent me this note. This is going to be really a cool thing if you guys can get this done tonight against the Madison County, because I knew, of course, Eli's become a big part of Huntsville High's program. He made the biggest shot of the game, I felt like, against Albertville, because sometimes in area tournaments, when it's the win and go home game, or go home, the biggest thing is to win that first one, get the nerves out. Huntsville played a little tight the first half. Second half played much better. He makes a big three to cut it to a one-possession game. Huntsville goes on from there to win impressively, 65-49. But also, they'll be playing at 10:30 tomorrow. But you'll have a granddaughter playing for Vestavia Hills against Huntsville High as well, and potentially you're having your team there. It's going to be a family affair at Jacksonville State potentially. That's a neat deal.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Of course, Eli's had a really good year for Huntsville when Christian brought him up. He's a very poised young man. He can really shoot the basketball, and I think is a very, very unselfish young person. He very unusual for a kid that age.
No doubt.
He shares the basketball, and he's a very smart player. And then my granddaughter, Grayson Hudgens at Vestavia, she is a ninth grader who played last year as an eighth grader on the varsity at Vestavia. She's a reserve who plays quite a few minutes for them, and she always guards the other team's best player unless it's a post player. She's tough as nails. She can shoot the basketball, and she's really a good passer and a really good player. So we're excited about it. If we can just take care of our business tonight, to be able not many people get the opportunity to have your team in a regional tournament and go watch two grandchildren play in a regional tournament.
Is that tough to watch, the coach in you,
No,
or is it
fine.
tough to watch with the just being a fan in the stands?
It's not tough to watch, but you just enjoy them playing.
Yeah.
You appreciate that they love to play the game so much, and then they both are lovers of basketball. They both love to play basketball and are very, very unselfish players, and they make huge contributions to the team and are great teammates.
They certainly are. And Coach, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about this honor. We mentioned it at the start of the conversation. What was the feeling when you got the call in November to be in the Alabama High School Athletic Hall of Fame? You've had so many great players. Your career has spanned so many years, but you continue to be such a big part of our community. We're blessed that you continue to do this. But what was it like to get that nod to be in the Hall of Fame?
Humble beyond words. As you know, to be able to do something as long as we've been able to do it here, and I say we, yes, my whole family's involved in everything we do. You have to, first of all, be, by the grace of God, be blessed with great health. You have to have a very supportive family. You have to have great coaches who help you do what you want to do, and then you have to have a bunch of really great players who understand what you're trying to do and who are willing to work hard to build a program. And I think that's too many young coaches out there now think that coaching's about 95% of this and players 5%. Coaching is 5% of what we do, and good players are 95% of what we do. And the old biblical saying, the man who exalted himself shall be humbled, and the man who humbles himself shall be exalted. This is a profession, if you're not real careful, will humble you in a hurry. And we've been just fortunate to have really good players and work in places that have really cared about helping us have a program.
Well, we're so glad that you're still doing it at such a high level, and it's just amazing. Lee High School's got the number 1 team in 5A in boys and girls. Your team is number 1. You talked about Plainview being number 1 in 3A for much of the year. What we've done and what we've seen in 7A Area 7, and that's not even to say Austin and James Clemens, they're very talented. We're just so blessed to have, and Hazel Green. We are so fortunate to have the basketball depth we do in our area, and your program is definitely one of the best. Good luck tonight. I know it's at 6 o'clock. Get your tickets on GoFan, everyone, to come out and support these young people as the number 1 ranked Westminster Wildcats are going to take on the Madison County Tigers. This is a team that's on a mission to try to win a second state title in school history and reach the championship game for the 4th time under Coach Ronnie Stapler. Coach, it's been a pleasure to have you. Again, congratulations, well-deserved on the Hall of Fame induction, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in Jacksonville in a few days as well.
Well, I hope I get to see you, Drew. I appreciate what you and Scott do for high school basketball. You're great for this, and we really appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Drew.
All right, let's get that break in. When we come back and wrap up hour 1 of Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Got a wreck at the Parkway in Winchester reporting westbound blockage. They did request an ambulance there. Everything else looks good this morning. Maybe an unknown problem about the 340 I-65 southbound. That would be about the 565 interchange. That may end up being a medical call. The big box is back at Popeyes with 2 pieces of that Louisiana seasoned chicken, or 3 of their tenders, 2 sides and a biscuit, only $6. University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. You can join the program, 256-576-4977. That is the number 2, the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And so far this morning, we have talked about Tuscaloosa's decision to put an extra $1 tax, I guess you could say, inside for sporting events in the city of Tuscaloosa between 1,999 to 20,000 people.
Yep.
So no beer sales tomorrow night for the Alabama-Mississippi State game inside Coleman Coliseum.
Tick.
Boom. The newest AP poll is out in college basketball, and as expected, Gonzaga leapfrogs Auburn. 56 first-place votes. Auburn, 4 first-place votes. Both 21-2 on the season. They flip-flop, so Gonzaga takes back the number 1 spot. Kentucky moves up 1 spot to number 4 in the rankings. And the rest of the SEC, slim pickings. Tennessee at number 16. Arkansas moves up 3 spots. They come back into the top 25. They were number 27, but they're now number 23. And then Alabama checks back in at the top 25 at number 25. So those are your AP rankings for college basketball.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier. You know, it's going to be a big week for Alabama again. They had a good week last week, bouncing back. They got a win at Ole Miss. Then they protected the home floor against Arkansas. We're going to talk to Brian Pasick later this hour about that. They've got Mississippi State at home coming up on Wednesday, and then a very difficult trip to Rupp Arena. Those are always hard, Scott. We talked about that yesterday. Ty Washington, his availability is in question, and we'll see tonight because the Tennessee Vols host the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like Scott just shrank for a few inches or something.
Well, the microphone keeps falling down, so the chair is on a thing where it goes up and down. So I've had to move the chair down so that the microphone would stay put. So I couldn't get it to say, I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. So now I'm basically sitting on the ground.
Exactly.
But that's okay.
6'6" Scott sitting on the ground.
That's okay. We make it work here, however we got to do it. But, okay, so here's the thing. I don't think anybody in the country, I mean, you look at Alabama's schedule last week, and that was probably, or not last week, over the last 3 games, the most daunting part of their schedule where you faced number 1 Auburn, and then you turned around and faced a top 5 Baylor team, and then you turned around and had to face an Arkansas team. I mean, that was just a brutal stretch. This one is not as brutal, but it's still tough.
It's dangerous.
Because you got Mississippi State, who's
beat you
fully
already.
capable of winning, and they've already done it.
Yeah.
And then you got to go to Rupp Arena.
Who already beat you.
So if you look at it, expectation-wise, you would say, man, we want to go 2-0 just because these are the next two games on the schedule. Realistically, 1-1, 2-0, 0-2. What does Alabama do in these next two games?
Well, you want to at least get a split and protect your home floor, Scott. I mean, This is a situation where Alabama's lost twice in Coleman Coliseum. And both those losses were to top 5 teams. You're talking about Kentucky and then, of course, Auburn. And so both of them could be 1 seeds. They lost a close, hard-fought game to Auburn. They lost a game against Kentucky where they couldn't have hit water if they fell out of a boat. The ball just wouldn't go in. They defended. They rebounded. They just couldn't. And they took reasonable care of the basketball. They just could not make a shot. So, and again, going to Rupp is extremely difficult. But Alabama's played a very, very difficult schedule, so they should be ready for that kind of challenge. But first, you got to take care of Mississippi State. You feel like you let one get away over there. It was a 78-76 game. Keon Ellis shot a 3 for the win. It was no good. But again, Alabama had to fight uphill for most of that contest. You feel like you've improved. You've got to do a good job against Iverson Molinar, who's one of the best guards in the SEC. They certainly, they have some size inside. Also at Mississippi State, they're a bigger team.
Yeah.
They've got some transfers like a Rocket Watts from Michigan State. So they basically rebuilt their team. Garrison Brooks from North Carolina out of the transfer portal. So they're still talented. They're teetering, though, because I believe they're 14-10 right now. So they need to get some wins in a hurry because they're off the bubble. They're not in right now. Florida's the team that's on the bubble.
Well,
so to me, Alabama needs to take care of business at home at 6 o'clock on Wednesday.
Joe Lunardi just released these. And I mean, when I say just released these, these are
Right.
his bracketology picks right now. They just came out. Joe Lunardi has Florida, your first 4 out.
Yes.
Along with Memphis, Michigan, and San Diego State. Those are the first
Wow.
4
You know what?
out.
I haven't really been paying attention to as much of the Big Ten, but I didn't realize Michigan had been throwing up all over themselves basically for most of this year.
Yes.
I mean, that's a team that almost went to the Final Four a year ago under Juwan Howard, and now they're really struggling. But I will say this, too. Memphis has gotten back into the conversation, Scott, because they were really struggling early. They beat Houston on Saturday, and that actually helps Alabama if Memphis can get back into the conversation because, let's be honest, they whooped Alabama's ass over in Memphis and put one of the biggest L's on Alabama as far as margin of victory. I think it was around 16 points.
Yeah.
And so they 92-76, I believe. So if they can continue to win and strengthen their resume, it's just going to strengthen Alabama's. But again, Penny Hardaway and Memphis getting back into the conversation, and they're very talented. If they can continue this kind of run, they would be a dangerous team in March from the AAC.
Well, right now, Joe Lunardi has Gonzaga, your top overall number 1 seed, followed by Auburn as a number 1 seed, Arizona as a number 1 seed, and Kentucky as a number 1 seed.
2 from the SEC.
Right now as number 1 seeds. He has Alabama as a 5 seed. Currently does Joe Lunardi. He has, I'm looking this over real fast to scan down, other SEC teams. Arkansas is a 6 seed. He has, I'm going over Tennessee as a 4 seed.
Right.
And that is who Joe Lunardi has. Right now he has 6 teams
From the SEC.
in the SEC making it.
And it looks to me like unless Mississippi State makes a big run, and I'm not anticipating that, I think it's Florida's the last chance for the SEC to get 7 in.
And now they're the last 4. They're in that last 4 out conversation.
And that'd be half the conference. It's like I told you, when you look at the standings right now, it's almost like 7 haves and 7 have-nots.
Right.
Where they've kind of separated themselves. So South Carolina is another team that's teetering. But I think right now, Mississippi State and South Carolina, teams like that would probably be NIT teams.
Well, if you wanted to draw more comparison between Gonzaga and Auburn, how about this?
Right.
Gonzaga's lost 2 games. Auburn has lost 2 games. Gonzaga's 2 losses have come to top 25 teams. One of them, Alabama. Auburn's 2 losses have come to top 25 teams. Arkansas at number 23 and UConn, who checks in at number 24.
Yeah, that was a double overtime game, I believe.
Yep, those are the comparisons between. There's going to be a lot. If both of them stay on the same plane, there's going to be comparisons between the two, Gonzaga and Auburn, as to who should get the overall number 1 seed. And right now, Gonzaga is dominating the conversation because they are number 1 in pretty much every computer statistic, KenPom, net, and all that other stuff. Gonzaga is number 1 in everything. Auburn, I think, is number 5 in KenPom. Still, there's one AP voter out there that does not like Auburn, and I think he voted them barely inside the top 10.
He wants $1 for a beer.
Week. He wants $1 for a beer.
I mean, per beer, whatever.
What is it? What's the non-alcoholic beer? O'Doul's? Is O'Doul still around?
I guess.
Coleman Coliseum can serve all the O'Douls they want tomorrow night. That's going to be about it.
Won't be popular.
Because the city of Tuscaloosa wants another $1. Another $1. Because they say that their police officers, firefighters, and everything need to be paid to serve and protect.
Well, I guess we're going to talk some Coach O right now.
We're going to do that topping off hour 2. Coach O reminiscing and reflecting.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at baddaddysburgerbar.com.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck in Madison County line near High Coach Way. That one's coming in with injuries. And we had one westbound at Parkway and Winchester. That one also reported as an injury type. Still may be trying to get it clear. February is American Heart Month and a great time to start a healthy diet and exercise. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue can help keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky and isolated shower going to be possible this afternoon. Much cooler across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 40s. Dropping into the low and mid 20s as we head into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine for your Super Bowl Sunday. Going to be another chilly afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 40s. Dropping into the mid 20s as we head into the overnight, early into your Monday morning. Valentine's Day doesn't look that bad. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 40s and lower 50s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
After the trade deadline, fresh odds for an NBA championship released on Monday. The Suns the favorite at plus 400. The Warriors at plus 425. The Nets had been the favorite. They're now at plus 475. The Bucks and Sixers each at plus 700. The 2022 Daytona 500 this Sunday. Denny Hamlin the favorite plus 850, followed by Chase Elliott plus 1,000. Kyle Larson plus 1,100. Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney each at plus 1,200. Golf, the 2022 Genesis Invitational underway on Thursday. John Rahm the favorite at plus 900. Patrick Cantlay plus 1,200. Justin Thomas at plus 1,600.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It's hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. Welcome back to hour number 2. And yes, we're going to get right down to it, okay? Ed Orgeron was on the Dan Patrick Show leading into Super Bowl 56. And this, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. Okay, so Ed Orgeron was trying to get Adrian Peterson to go to USC.
Yes, he was.
He wanted Adrian Peterson bad to USC. Here is the story on how Oklahoma beat out Adrian Peterson to go to USC. This will get the conversation started.
It's a true story. We go down to see Adrian, me and Pete, and his mother ran track at, I think it was at Houston. Wonderful lady. And Adrian and I had a great relationship. He loved Pete Carroll, but I felt like he and I were very tight. One time he says, Coach, I went to his school. He says, Coach, I want you to follow me. I couldn't drive with him. We went 30 miles. I said, I didn't know where we were going. We stopped at this little country store, and he bought a gingerbread cookie. I couldn't buy it for him for supper. And then we went to a basketball game. And we sat in the gym, and I said, what are we doing? He said, you see that guard right there? I got to play him next week. Coach to come and scout him. How about that? Then I said, well, Adrian, what is the key to getting you here at USC? He says, Coach, well, Bob Stoops, my dad is incarcerated. Bob Stoops won't see him. Well, me and Pete Carroll tried to go get him. And to go see him, they wouldn't let us in. But Adrian said, Coach, my dad is be able to watch my games where he's at. Well, if I go to Oklahoma, I tried to get the guy transferred to Los Angeles.
Wait, you tried to get Adrian's dad?
Yeah, tried.
How does that happen?
I competed. Couldn't get it done, but I competed.
Oh,
Lord.
That was how Ed Orgeron tried to get Adrian Peterson to go to USC. And Ed Orgeron obviously was in a very good mood because he wasn't done there. Remember when he was at Ole Miss?
Yes.
Not a great tenure for Ed Orgeron.
But they were talented.
But he had a recruiting battle with Mississippi State. Didn't name the recruit, but listen to this battle that he had with a recruit at Mississippi State.
Oh, one time we had a recruit. I was at the University of Mississippi. We had a recruit that was committed to us, and we couldn't get in touch with him. And all of a sudden, on the last night that we could go visit, I already visited him. I'd sent like 9 of my coaches to his house. And Mississippi State was at his house. And it was a big deal, and they was calling me and stuff like that. I said, Coach, we can't get in there. I said, keep on fighting. Well, I stayed to midnight, and that was it. Well, the next day was a dead period. We couldn't get in contact with the young man. They hit him in a church, in the back of a church. He didn't go to school. They hit him Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Obviously, he didn't sign with us.
Who broke your heart? Is there one that's...
Oh.
In the back of a church.
The back of a church.
Well, all I could say is that I won't mention the name. I will say it was basketball, just to mention that. And there was a prominent recruit in the state of Alabama, and his church received a big-time donation, and he ended up in the state of Mississippi. That's all I'll say. I won't even say which school it was. I just know that churches have been used before.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Well, here is Ed Orgeron, though. Now, this is the clip that we'll talk about a lot. This is about his coaching future.
Right.
Why aren't you coaching?
Well, I want to take a year off. Think about this. I've been going to a university since I started college for 42 years. All right. I wanted to take 1 year off settle down, let the dust settle. I have 3 great sons. In fact, my twins, it's their birthday today, Parker and Cody, they're 24 years old. They all want to coach. My oldest son, Tyler, is 29. We're trying to get them analyst job, get them in college because they were all going to be with me. So there's a little adjustment there. We got one settled. One's going to take the year off, and one's going to try to get in the NFL. So I wanted to spend my time working with them, settle down, and then see what's available for me next year.
Was LSU fair to you?
Yes. I do believe that. Hey, listen, I left with LSU, no regrets. I knew one day that was going to happen. Look, hey, you can't have 2 losing seasons, at LSU. That's the standard. We set the standard at 15-0, and it wasn't there. But look, they gave me a great settlement. I don't have to work again in my life if I don't want, so they were very fair to me.
Okay. That was Ed Orgeron about his future and how good LSU was to him leaving.
Yeah.
Does he coach again?
Oh, yeah.
Head coach, Power 5?
No. I don't think Ed Orgeron's a head coach. I think he's a great defensive line coach. I think, as you heard the stories, he's one of the great recruiters in the history of the sport. I'm not even sure he's a defensive coordinator. I think he's more of a co-DC, but I think he's a D-line extraordinaire and, again, a recruiting extraordinaire. And guess what? You know what you can make doing that? You can make over $1 million a year. And I'm talking about even in college being that good. He is that level of recruiter. He's basically a younger version of Tosh Lupoy, and Lupoy has made a ton of money doing that. He's now with Dan Lanning at Oregon.
Could Orgeron be a defensive coordinator?
Potentially. I'm not going to say no on that. I think he knows defense. I know he had a heavy hand in it at Ole Miss, even though they weren't that good on that side of the ball. But again, I do think that Orgeron I would definitely like to have him as this extra set of eyes and a co-defensive coordinator. He could definitely hold that title.
Right.
But I think D-line, he gets a lot of effort out of his guys. He develops players, and he knows how to evaluate talent. I mean, talent was not the problem at LSU. It was direction. Okay? I'm just not sure he's the kind of guy that can run a program like that. Now, he might get a chance at a group of 5 school. He might get a chance somewhere like I know Terry Bowden's at Louisiana Monroe right now, and then you've got the new era at the University of Louisiana and schools of that nature. Perhaps he would get an FCS opportunity. I don't know, at a smaller school, but I think as a coach where he could make the most money and the highest impact is as a co-DC D-line coach and be a part of a major Power 5 program going forward. Now, obviously, because of political reasons, it wouldn't be at a place like LSU. But, if Urban Meyer gets back into coaching, in the college level, then you never know. And Coach O did do a short term with the Saints. But I still think in the NFL that he would be missing his calling as a recruiter.
Right. I think he'll come back to the college game. I don't think it'll be the
maybe he goes.
game.
He loves Southern California. Maybe
Right.
he ends up working for Lincoln Riley to help Lincoln Riley because they certainly need to get tougher because they're not the toughest.
Chip Kelly could take him to UCLA.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say, and I don't know what their relationship is. He and Pete Carroll's still with the Seahawks, but again, and they have a great relationship. But I still think Coach O's best, strength is as a assistant coach, and so we'll see. I mean, potentially if Freddie Roach gets a chance to move on from Alabama, I think several years ago, in around 2014, Coach Saban had some conversations with Ed Orgeron, and that almost happened. But then,
did you bring Ed Orgeron in to be an analyst at Alabama?
Not an analyst, as the defensive line coach.
Could you? Would that go over right?
With Saban, yeah. I mean, this is Nick Saban.
I know.
He hired Lane
there's
Kiffin.
Reclamation projects all over the place.
He hired Lane Kiffin, man. I mean, Lane's a handful. He hired Tosh Lupoy. He's hired a lot of guys that have baggage or had checkered past. That's happened many, many times. So
right.
That's there's not. I mean, Pete Golding right now has his own set of issues. And Pete's still going to be there because he's helping Pete. Scott Cochran, understand this. He's had to Steve Sarkisian. A lot of these guys have had demons in the past that he's helped. And that's another place where he could eventually land. He could land at Texas. Bo Davis is there. Say Bo Davis in another year goes back to Alabama and they need a defensive line coach at Texas. I mean, there's nobody with more money than Texas. Sark could pay Coach O to come there. So I just think Coach O's strength is as a recruiter, as a defensive line coach. And if he so chooses, I believe that year that Saban talked to him, he decided to take a year off then because he had just been fired at Ole Miss.
Okay.
And so then he took a year off, and then he went back to Southern California. Actually,
because if you get him now, if you get Ed Orgeron now,
yeah,
the difference between then and now is you would be worried that Ed Orgeron would try to take another head coaching job because it didn't go so well at Ole Miss. But after a couple years, he comes along, another opportunity, he's going to take another crack at it. I think now maybe if you get Ed Orgeron now, he may not want to take another crack at being a said head coach. That if you get him now, long term, he's going to be there for a few years coaching the D-line, not be looking to get back as a head coach.
Well, he just got a huge settlement. As he said, he doesn't have to work.
And age, too.
And I think he may realize that he's had his chance. I mean, LSU was his dream job. He did win a national championship. But, again, look at Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik spent a couple years out, after a few years out after getting released by Auburn. And also he went to North Carolina for a couple of years, and then he spent a couple of years out. Now he's gone back to North Carolina. So it's hard to stay out of it if you get it in your system. And Gene Chizik is still a great defensive mind. He's just not a head coach. And I think the same deal with Ed Orgeron. I think he's an elite recruiter that a lot of people will be wanting to talk to.
Boy, Gus, Gene Chizik and Gus and I want to say Gus Malzahn, but Ed Orgeron. Gene Chizik and Ed Orgeron will forever be linked together. We're always going to compare those two, aren't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of parallels in their quick demises, but their quick rise.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at what Gene Chizik did in 2010 at Auburn, an unbelievable year, 14-0 national champions, and what Ed Orgeron did in 2019, going 15-0. But it's amazing how quickly they collapsed in 2 years. It's just hard. That's what makes Nick Saban so great, is being able to feed the beast, and he loses coaches and players every year. And so he's able to feed it and continue to keep it rolling, and that's just his strength as a coach. He knows how to build an organization. The hardest thing to do is to keep it rolling. And Ed tried to keep Joe Brady. He gave him a $1.5 million a year, 3-year contract on the table, but he wanted to go to the NFL. A lot of those coaches, a lot of those players left. Gene Chizik, same deal. You lose a game-changing athlete like a Cam Newton, who is probably one of the top 5 to 10 athletes ever in the SEC, and the impact he made. Then you lose him, and it's tough because Alabama just keeps rolling. And so that's the most difficult part of it. And now that's what makes it hard on Brian Harson, because Harson, there was a coup trying to get his job. They did not get it. You've got a lame duck athletic director. You've got a coach who's it won't take him long to get back on the hot seat. You've got to win, and yet you've lost a lot of players. You've lost a lot of coaches, and it's affected your recruiting because of the uncertainty around your coach.
I want to get to the toughest schedules because that leads into the uncertainty of some of these coaches. But let's get to Jeff from the Borough real fast on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
Morning, guys. I want to say, you talking about feeding the beast. Nolan Richards said that one time, said you feed the beast and you run out of food. That's what it boils down to. If you run out of food, that's what you keep trying to feed it. And you just, that's what he said one time about being all those great Arkansas teams, but and everything, but and all that stuff. But guys, I know there's a column this morning. A guy USA Today wrote it, talking about Cup, and the headline said, Cup will never be overlooked again. Coming out of high school, no offers at all, none at all. He went to Eastern Washington, and then look what he did, Super Bowl champ. T. Higgins, the top fighter, the all-nighter, the 4- and 5-star, and what is he? He lost Super Bowl, lost. And what does that tell you? Recruiters missed on that, didn't they, Drew?
Yeah, they missed on Cup. There's no doubt. I mean, he had a great pedigree. His grandfather and his father both played in the NFL. And Eastern Washington is a great, FCS program, but it's not an FBS program. And certainly, I think you have to go with the here and now. Cooper Kupp has developed in 3 years in the NFL into the best receiver in the game.
Yeah, and I was tell you guys too. SEC, y'all talking about schedules. Middle Tennessee was supposed to play. Missouri was supposed to come down here and play Middle Tennessee. They played several years ago, and it's a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah.
We were going up there twice, and but Missouri backed out. They didn't want to come down here. So and there's a buyout. There's a clause in the contract. They had to pay us $800,000 to get out of it. So instead of coming up here to Murfreesboro playing our opener, we've got to go to James Madison now and play James Madison. Of course, it's their last year of FCS football. They're going to be in the Sun Belt after next year. But Missouri, instead of playing Middle Tennessee up here in Murfreesboro, they're going to play Louisiana Tech from Conference USA at home next year instead.
And that's a football deal, right?
Yeah, football. Yeah, they're supposed to come up here and play us our opener. So instead of having 6 home games like we spoke, we're going to have 5 next year instead of 6 and 6. We're going to have 5, and we got to play. We got to play James Madison, which they're at FCS, and we've got Tennessee State on schedule there in Nashville. It's a big money. A lot of fans will be there. But they say, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but when you put 2 FCS schools on your schedule, only one of them counts towards bowl eligibility. I don't know if y'all knew that or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all knew that about scheduling and stuff. But no, I just want to say that. So I guess Drunk with he didn't want to travel up to Boston up there. I guess he don't want to travel to Murfreesboro either, because we already beat them once several years ago. Stockton went down there and beat them before Drunk went to become coach. We beat them down there too. So I guess he didn't want to get beat in Birdsburg again by Conference USA. But y'all hang in there, guys. Have a good day. See
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, let's move on. I don't even whatever. Okay.
Our Murfreesboro update.
Yeah. So going back to the coaches, and we were mentioning, Brian Harson and all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, so 24/7 Sports has given us an early look. Yes, we're about 200 days away or 199 days away from Alabama and Auburn kicking off. I know we got a long time, but it'll be here before we know it. The toughest schedules in next season. And so will these lead to vacancies? So right now, Mississippi State, they're saying potentially could face 7 ranked opponents. If Mike Leach struggles this year against 7 ranked opponents, is Mike Leach going to be fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, there's a certain set of expectations at Mississippi State. They improved this year.
Right.
I think they'll keep improving. If he can keep them at the 7 or 8 win plateau, he's fine. I mean, they're not unrealistic. They also know where they stand. We talked to Steve Robertson quite a bit, and got to give him a shout out too, because he's released his latest book, Dog Pile, which was, of course, Mississippi State's run to their first College World Series title, already nearing number 1 in the state of Mississippi, of course, on the bestseller list. As he always tells us, Mississippi State is a baseball school. They understand where they stand. Now, they want to win in football. They're not trying. They're trying to.
Right.
But there's a certain set of expectations. Like if you're going to bowl games, if you're winning 8 games a year, you're fine. And then if you're in Mississippi State basketball, if you're going to some NITs and some NCAAs and staying in that mix in the postseason, you're good. Now, but where the expectations are, where they expect to compete for championships every year,
is baseball. All right, number 2 on the hardest schedule list, Mike Loxley and Maryland. And now we know why Mike Loxley is trying to bring in this Alabama-style defense.
Right.
Because the Terps this year will have to face Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Penn State, Ohio State, and SMU.
Yeah, and that's SMU will not be easy.
That'll be who they have. So number 3 on this list, the Auburn Tigers have the potential to face 7 ranked opponents. That's Brian Harson. So Brian Harson, who last week was at the center of all this controversy, coming back in year 2, has not recruited well, has brought in some guys via the transfer portal, now has what 24/7 Sports says is the 3rd hardest schedule, with his back against the wall. Wow, what are we going to be in store for Brian Harson in year 2? Now with what they say the 3rd hardest schedule, when it seems like he's coaching for his job?
That's a great question. I mean, he's going to be the most watched coach in the SEC next year, just simply because of what happened for a week.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't reach postseason, there's going to be a ton of pressure. And when we see the demise, and I'm expecting that, of Alan Green, when they bring in a new athletic director, and remember, Scott, new president taking office in May. So the power structure will be changing somewhat at Auburn. And so I think the coach with the most pressure on him, without a doubt, is Brian Harson. And second will be ATM because of the obvious
recruiting buy-in.
Recruiting. That's a great term to use. I mean, they're bringing in the greatest recruiting class of all time. Can they stop getting their ass beat 4 times a year?
They didn't go all in on recruiting. They bought all in.
Yeah.
On
they bought Bitcoin, whatever the hell they did.
They bought Bitcoin.
Whatever.
You know what, though? That is a good thing. I mean, that pretty much sums it up, because Texas A&M bought all these guys. You bought it low. You bought future. Yeah. And you're hoping that future pays off. Mm-hmm. If not, it's going to tank. Yep. And it's going to be worthless. It's not going to be worth anything. All right, number 4, they say toughest schedule, Arkansas, 5 Ohio State, 6 Texas A&M, 7 Indiana, 8 Alabama. They put Alabama's schedule as 8 right now. Michigan State 9, South Carolina 10, Ole Miss 11, Notre Dame 12. But anyway, I thought that was interesting with Brian Harson having the 3rd toughest schedule right now. What is he going to do, and what's it going to set up for year number 2? All right, let's get that break in. Alabama takes on Mississippi State tomorrow inside Coleman Coliseum. We've been talking about no beer. Let's talk about the game itself. Brian Pasick will tip it off with us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Madison on County Line near High Coach Way. That one had an injury reported. Also had an injury at Parkway in Winchester. That one had westbound blockage. Be careful coming through there. Both of those should be clear pretty soon. Everything else looks pretty good this morning. Just a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode trying to make it in. Snelling has a direct hire position for an experienced materials handler in Owens Crossroads. Great benefits. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
What began in a backyard in the 1920s is still going strong today. In this area, the name Gibson means barbecue. And even after over 65 years in Huntsville, Gibson's is trusted for delicious barbecue pork, chicken, ribs, freshly baked pies, and the best breakfast in town. Family owned and operated for 4 generations. Gibson's Barbecue, South Parkway in Huntsville, and online at gibsonsbbq.com. Gibson's Barbecue, Huntsville's best since 1956.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
Roll Tide! Roll Tide!
The journey for 19 begins this year. This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and we'll bring all the action to you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back indeed to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We've talked a lot about Alabama basketball this morning. A little of that conversation actually had to do with basketball. Now we can actually delve into basketball, the game between Alabama and Mississippi State. Yeah, okay, just some odd noises. But anyway,
knock, knock, knock.
Who's there? Anyway, we're just doing a radio show, that's all. Anyway, let's delve into tomorrow night's game.
We certainly need to do that, and remember, we had a knock, knock, knock on a hotel door with this next guest with us one time. So we're used to
didn't
noises.
go so well the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
He said he would blame us.
Well, now it's on our end, so we've got somebody knock, knock, knocking or hammering or something. But it's certainly going to not keep us from our conversation with our next guest. He is the Crimson Tide Sports Network analyst for many years, 15-plus years now for the Crimson Tide Sports Network, former shooting guard for the University of Alabama, and does a great job with Chris Stewart calling the University of Alabama basketball broadcast, and you can hear them here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. They will be traveling to Rupp Arena on Saturday, but first they have a home date, very important one, a rematch with Mississippi State. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about a great week last week to get them back on track with wins at Ole Miss and at home against Arkansas, and that's Brian Pasick. Brian, welcome back to the show. You're with Drew and Scott.
Hey, guys. How are y'all today?
Doing good.
We are good. We've got our own knocking at the door today, man, but we're dealing with it. I just wanted to first of all, rehash last week. A huge road win in so many ways, going to Oxford, Mississippi to regain confidence, and then a lot of toughness shown by the squad in getting a home win against a really, really red-hot Arkansas team, Brian.
Yes. Before we get to that, we need to clarify the hotel situation.
Yes.
Because I didn't like the way that sounded. Just to be clear for the listeners who weren't listening while I was in my hotel room in Athens, Georgia, we were not all in a hotel room together. So let's just
No, this was housekeeping.
Be clear. This was housekeeping.
Yes.
So we just want to be clear there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
So all right.
But it didn't go so well. But you did say, though, that that if they didn't play well, that we were going to be the ones to play. And they don't play that great against Georgia. I was like, oh, goodness.
Well, that's on us.
But, that's on us.
We'll wear it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about good things.
Yes, please.
And that are these last 2 games for Alabama. And I thought the bounce-back performance at Ole Miss was huge for this team, and the way it unfolded I thought was important, because coming off of that Kentucky game, going back a little over a week, that was a struggle to say the least on the offensive end. Alabama shot as bad from 3 we've seen an Alabama team shoot in over a decade. Mm-hmm. And to bounce back and make 14 threes against Ole Miss, who, by the way, was a very good and is a very good three-point defensive team. They do a really good job with their perimeter defense, forcing tough shots from three. But I thought Alabama executed it at a high level, got open looks, and played with confidence, which sounds easy. But when you shoot 3 for 30 in the previous game, it's not easy to bounce back from a confidence standpoint. And Alabama did that against a dangerous Ole Miss team who's had some big wins on the year. Obviously not one of the top handful of teams in the Southeastern Conference, but as we can tell you better than anybody, going on the road and winning in the SEC is never easy. And for Alabama to get that win was huge. And then coming into the game on Saturday against maybe the hottest team in the country. I mean, 9 wins in a row. Obviously, they were the hottest in the SEC to that point, having just knocked off the current number 7 team or 8 team in the net, the Auburn Tigers. They were playing really well and with a lot of confidence. And for Alabama to get out that win in a game where the threes were not falling in the second half. And that's the thing that's starting to give me more optimism moving forward as we get into SEC tournament play, NCAA tournament play. If you want to advance in the tournament, you're probably going to have to be able to win in a variety of ways. And Alabama, in just a week span, won it with offense in a high-paced game against Ole Miss, and then came home and in a grinded-out type game. I only had a couple of guys in double figures, and when your leading scorers got 11 points and you turn it over a bunch and give up offensive rebounds, you just got to figure out a way to win. And Alabama has not had the greatest year in terms of winning a bunch of close games. They've lost a bunch of close ones. So to get that win against a really good Arkansas team was important.
Yeah, and that's what I want to ask you. I mean, this Alabama team has struggled sometimes to put the ball in the basket percentage-wise, but you're still able to post W's in the column. That means the 50-50 balls, the hustle balls, the other little things are being done to get wins.
Yeah, and that is really where this team has not been as good as last year. And in these games, in the Arkansas game, they're starting to do those things. Alabama still is on track to have one of its best offenses in terms of the analytics in 17 years. I think the last time that Alabama was ranked where they are in offensive efficiency, last time I looked, around 15 or 16, dropped some after the Arkansas game. But it's been a long time since Alabama has been that high in offense, specifically offense. Now, last year, Alabama was number 2 or 3 defensive team in the country, and now, right around 68, 70 in defensive efficiency. So that's where this team needs to get better. And they've shown it in some big wins this year when their offense was not where they needed it to be, that they're capable of winning it on the defensive end. And I thought that was the case on Saturday against a really good Arkansas team.
And I thought one of the biggest things too, Brian, because it's all about how teams evolve during the journey of a season, because it's a long grind, and guys sometimes get more and more comfortable, and then they grow in their roles, and that's how you get better. And then the biggest thing is to be ready in March. But I thought Noah Gurley's assertiveness in the last 2 or 3 minutes of that game was huge. He's had great moments this year, but he's had some moments too where he struggled trying to fit in with his team, being a graduate transfer. But I thought the 2 big baskets he had to answer when Arkansas got those 1-point leads that ultimately ended up being the difference in the game were huge for him, because he could be an X factor down the stretch for this team.
Yeah, I agree. And I would also add to that the defensive play he made against J.D. Notte in the last minute of the game that was called a foul, and was one of maybe a few or 30 missed calls in that game. And listen, you know it's a rough outing for the Stripes when both fan bases, both coaching staffs are losing their mind over pretty much every call. So it was not one of their better efforts, and that was a great defensive play. He was not rewarded for that, unfortunately, but to his credit, he came back and made a play, and he had back-to-back buckets on the offensive end to take the lead. He had to regain the lead on the second one. So great to see that from Noah Gurley, and I agree with you. It's so important for Alabama to have some other guys step up that you can rely on. So for Noah Gurley to have back-to-back games that he had, he won the Hard Hat Award at Ole Miss and played really well defensively, made a couple threes, did a little bit of everything against the Rebels, and came in and was so clutch late against Arkansas. And then also J.D. Davison, for him to get the SEC Freshman of the Year a week after some fans and media kind of written him off after
right.
a tough game
Total
against
mistake,
Kentucky.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by the way, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And listen, it's a long season and there's ups and downs. I think sometimes around these parts we don't have as much of an understanding for the ups and downs of a college basketball season than maybe we should. But J.D. Davison, to no one's surprise around the program, responded in a great way and was really happy for him after getting some unfair criticism to bounce back and win the SEC Freshman of the Week.
No question. It was big for him, those two games, two strong games. Certainly, as you said, he had a game-high 11, and then in this game against Arkansas, and then before that, a 7 of 8 from the field against the Ole Miss Rebels. Now a big week to try to – you get a couple of revenge games, so to speak. Mississippi State, you got to continue to protect the home floor. Iverson Molinar, very good player. Garrison Brooks, this is a team that was basically refurbished through the transfer portal, but they are hanging on for dear life to try to get back on the bubble. Then a trip to Rupp Arena. So two outstanding opportunities for this Alabama team to continue to build their resume, Brian.
Yeah, another big week for Alabama at Mississippi State, a team that is desperate to get back on the good side of the NCAA tournament bubble. And I think they're more than capable of doing that. Again, we hope it starts on Saturday and not on Wednesday for the Bulldogs, but they have one of the top front lines in the SEC, which means if you have one of the top front lines in the SEC, then you have one of the top in college basketball. So they are good. We've seen that firsthand. Alabama in the first matchup, I thought, played really well for about 32 minutes. And if it was a high school game, that would have been enough. But we play 40 in college, and those last 8 minutes were dominated on the glass by the Bulldogs. So that'll certainly be a point of emphasis coming into the game Wednesday night. The good thing is there's some similarities, style standpoint, with Mississippi State and Kentucky. So hopefully that'll help prepare you for a trip to Rupp Arena. Alabama coming off a season sweep of Kentucky a year ago. But this is a much different Kentucky team. This Kentucky team's national championship good. So that'll be a great opportunity for Alabama. Not a ton of pressure to go on the road and beat Kentucky, the number 2 or 3 team in the country. But they will be excited, and this Alabama team has proven that they can play with and beat anybody in the country when they're getting it going on both ends of the floor. So hopefully Alabama will be able to take care of business on Wednesday night and then roll into Rupp Arena with a lot of confidence on Saturday.
How has Alabama changed since they faced Mississippi State that first time?
Well, I think they've become a little more consistent in some areas that they've struggled. There's been a point of emphasis on the defensive end and rebounding and playing a full 40 minutes, and they're not there yet. But they're getting better in that regard. They've won some games because of those things on nights where they weren't able to knock down shots. And, I look to the Kentucky game is obviously that was a disappointing loss at home. But, this team defended at a super high level against Kentucky, rebounded against one of the top rebounding teams in the country. So if Alabama would have just shot bad instead of, historically bad, they probably would have beat, maybe the best team in the country in Kentucky. But it just shows you what this team is capable of when they're doing those things that cost them the game in Starkville.
It really did, and so hopefully they will bounce back, no question about that. And then one thing as far as players' growth on this team, I talked about Noah Gurley and his confidence, but it was good to see Jusaun Holt knock down a 3, and I know he played a lot of really good minutes against Ole Miss as well, kind of lengthening the rotation.
Yeah, and he's someone that impacts the game defensively, can rebound the ball. He's got length, versatility. He's really not just athletic. I mean, he's really a smart defender. He understands angles, how to play pick and rolls. He's just got a good feel for it on the defensive end. And he is someone that has earned more playing time. He has the ability to make shots. He hasn't done it this year. Was happy to see him knock down the three on Saturday against Arkansas. Hopefully that'll give him some confidence. But he's so good defensively in rebounding at his position that even if he's not making shots, he's earned playing time, and he's given this team another option that can play inside and out. He and Miles are versatile, lengthy defenders that can play a lot of different positions. And for a team that is trying very hard to get better and more consistent on the defensive end, guys like Darius Miles and Jusan Holt, I think, will play more and more and be more of a factor on this team on the defensive end.
And then, Brian, I would be remiss, I didn't ask you about this last week, but you're someone that put the uniform on. You know what Alabama basketball means, and there's a lot of passion in this program. Many people, especially in the younger generation, don't understand the history and the heritage of it, but what does it mean to now have this next step taken with the Crimson Standard and then to have a new arena be something that we're going to see in the very near future begin? How exciting is that, and how big is it for Alabama basketball? Can you put it in perspective?
Yeah, it's huge, and the timing is awesome because where the program is right now is it's in as good a shape as I can remember, and I've been around this program as a fan, player, broadcaster for a long time, going on, over 30 years, which I hate to admit because that means I'm old, getting older. But it kind of feels like when Wimp had it rolling in the early 90s, nice. Late 80s, early 90s, you just felt like, okay, this program is on the verge of something special. And I think we saw that last year in winning an SEC tournament, regular season championship, Sweet 16, top 10 recruiting class. And now all of a sudden, you got people complaining. And listen, I understand there's been inconsistencies, but the fact that people are complaining and you look up and Alabama's projected as a number 5 seed in the NCAA tournament just shows you where this program is. And, oh, by the way, the number 3 recruiting class coming in next year. And so for the announcement to come that Alabama is about to get probably the best arena in the Southeastern Conference coming in the near future, it's just incredible from a momentum standpoint. And I know probably listening has seen the renderings and the videos and what it's going to be like. And there's just so much excitement around this program, and I don't think it could have come at a better time. With Nate Oates at the helm, there's just so much excitement and momentum. So I could not be more thrilled about that new venue, but really where this program is and where it's going.
And I'll say this, I still think this Alabama team hasn't played their best basketball. I don't think they peaked too early. I think they're just now coming together. That's what excites me about this. And you'll be able to hear Brian Pasek starting at 5 o'clock. That'll be pregame here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. But Alabama's at 6 p.m. will be the tip on ESPN2 as they will take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And then, of course, on Saturday, a noon tip in Lexington, Kentucky on CBS. Looking forward to both those broadcasts. Brian, we always appreciate your generosity and your time, and we look forward to some great Alabama basketball this week. Thank you.
Always enjoy it. Appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, Brian. Brian Pasek with us this morning. Let's get that final break in. Tomorrow's headlines will crank up next when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck in Madison on County Line near High Coach Way. That one had an injury reported. Also had an injury at Parkway in Winchester. That one had westbound blockage. Be careful coming through there. Both of those should be clear pretty soon. Everything else looks pretty good this morning. Just a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode trying to make it in. Snelling has a direct hire position for an experienced materials handler in Owens Crossroads. Great benefits. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubbies Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food, from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. And you can enjoy $50 worth of delicious Bubbies Diner food for half price with this week's Zone Deal. On sale now online at 977ESPN.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back to 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you for another 7 or 8 minutes. I did laugh when I heard this because this is so inconsistent to what we have been talking about. This is your good friend, Joe Buck.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, listen to what he has to say.
I think there's too much at stake for either side to test the patience of fans any more than they already have. And I think they're going to get something done. I think, time is obviously of the essence, but nothing gets done until the 11th hour in these things. And I'm not saying it's tomorrow or the next day, but I would think that within the next week or two, something will get done. I'd like to believe that because I think with the state of the game, both sides knowing that you need to speed things up, you need to get more action back in this game. Nobody has any patience coming out of a pandemic for billionaires fighting with millionaires.
That was Joe Buck.
I don't know if hell froze over here, but I actually agree with Joe. This is about the labor situation in baseball.
That is about the labor. Okay, so part of the proposal, in its latest proposal, Major League Baseball is wanting to reduce the maximum number of minor league players on the domestic reserve list. Mm-hmm. Right now it stands at teams can have 180 players on the minor league list right now. Major League Baseball wants to drop that number down to below 150 for the remainder of the collective bargaining agreement. That is just another thing,
sticking point,
that they are trying to go after. But that was Joe Buck saying, hey, he thinks it's going to get done. He thinks it's going to get done.
I hope so, Joe.
I don't see it getting done.
But I will say this. I prefer that Joe to the other one.
You don't like the play-by-play Joe Buck style?
No. I mean the other Joe I mentioned earlier in the conversation.
At the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The high gas price Joe.
Yeah. The idiot.
256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline if you want to get in on the show this morning. We've talked a lot about the situation in Tuscaloosa where they won't sell beer inside Coleman Coliseum for the foreseeable future. We've talked about Ed Orgeron. We talked about the toughest schedules. And we heard from Ed Orgeron and everything. We've gone over the top 25 list. So anything that you've heard this morning that you want to comment on, feel free to do so. Coming up tomorrow, don't forget, you'll want to download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app because we will have Alabama basketball for you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Pre-game coverage of the Crimson Tide Sports Network will kick off at 5. Game will kick off at 6. And then on 97.7 ESPN The Zone 2, UAH basketball will travel to West Alabama as they look to stay red hot. And speaking of red hot, the UAH women get a road win yesterday on the road at Auburn Montgomery. That's back-to-back wins for the women's Chargers as they knocked off 19th-ranked Lee on Saturday.
That's right, Lee. Yeah,
got a win over Auburn Montgomery yesterday. They will take on West Alabama tomorrow. And congratulations to Holly Harris, a member of the UAH women's team. She netted 1,000 points yesterday.
Huge accomplishment.
Becoming I believe, I got to look at the exact number there. I want to say the 8th Charger to do it. 10th Charger. Holly Harris became the 10th Charger in women's basketball history at UAH to score 1,000 points for her career. So congratulations to Holly Harris.
No doubt about it. And, I also want to give a shout out. I got a chance to have dinner with him last week. We're going to have him on soon just to talk about his program and, what he's building over there. But as we know, we've kept the listeners in tune to Calhoun bringing athletics back as far as basketball, also volleyball for the first time. But Derek Powell, he was for the last 3 years. He was an assistant at Tuskegee. He has now taken over the boys/men's program at Calhoun, starting basketball once again. It's a program John Douglas took to the national championship game in the years past. It's been a proud one, and the Warhawks are back. He's building this program. He's going to build a lot of it with the local talent around here.
I've seen some of the names that have signed.
Trevon Ragland has already committed to him from Tennessee Valley Prep. Ridge Harrison as well. Horace Fitchard, former Huntsville Crimson Panther, who transferred from League, transferred to Huntsville for his senior year, was a valuable player on an Elite Eight team last year. He's had a good year over there. He will sign with Calhoun. So it's going to be a roster with a lot of local flavor. He's recruiting like the Jason Bledsoes of the world at Westminster Christian Academy. He's got his eyes on a lot of players. He offered Kaylin Lightford over at Sparkman. So he's building the program with a lot of local talent around here, and it's going to be exciting.
All right, let's get to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Ray is with us real fast. Good morning, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Wanted to sneak in before you go off the air on the alcohol sales at Alabama.
Yeah.
Sure.
Couple of things from my chair is it's a massive liability problem for the University of Alabama, especially if someone is overserved and an incident occurs later, be it traffic accident, hit a pedestrian, anything like that. So for me, the negatives far outweigh the positives for the university's viewpoint. Moreover, if you're a fan and consuming alcohol at a sporting event is a necessary component for your enjoyment of that event, that's a conversation I need you to have with yourself as to why that's true.
Okay.
See you, fellas.
All right, thanks.
Well, and I'll say is, well, do they hold the NFL franchises liable for that?
Yeah, that is one of those. But you know what though, and Ray, I mean, Ray's entitled to view it that way.
Right.
There are people that view it that way. There are people, and I think our viewpoint was that Alabama is already paying a 10% tax
on concessions
and paying money already on another tax for tickets. Why add another $1 to the tickets on top of that? That's kind of where we were going.
Yeah.
Ray's entitled to his opinions. We may not agree with it, but hey.
All I can say is, hey, Walt, hey, Joe, $3.19 a gallon. It's your fault. Maybe it's really $3.25 some places. But thanks to Brian Pasick. We appreciate him, and the great Ronnie Stabler. What an awesome conversation. Everybody enjoy the high school basketball tonight. A lot of great action going on around the community, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, 7:01 a.m. Have a great rest of your afternoon. The Czar coming up with Chad, 10 to noon.
See you guys.